Listen up. If you want to understand why men fall hard, why they lose their minds over certain women, you need to know what separates the unforgettable from the forgettable. It's not about playing games. It's about a force that grips a man's soul and makes him think, I cannot let this woman go. First, confidence. Nothing commands more respect than a woman who knows who she is and what she's about. A woman who walks into a room like she owns it, and not because she's arrogant, but because she doesn't need validation from anyone. Men chase after women who don't chase them. That's the paradox. Be the kind of woman who has a mission, who has goals, who has drive. That's the kind of energy that pulls men in like gravity. Then there's mystery. Too many women lay all their cards on the table in the first 5 minutes. Predictability is boring. Keep a man on his toes. Make him wonder. Make him earn the privilege of knowing you. Men are wired for the chase, and when you're a puzzle worth solving, they'll never stop trying to figure you out. Loyalty. This one's rare. Men don't just want a partner. They want a fortress. Someone who's in their corner when the world is against them. Not the fair weather type who vanishes at the first sign of trouble, but the woman who looks a man in the eye and says, I believe in you, even when he doesn't believe in himself. That's a woman he'll never forget. Then there's the playful challenge, the fire, the wit, the teasing. Men don't want a pushover. They want a woman who can keep up, who can call them out, who makes them laugh and makes them think. Be the woman who keeps a man on his toes, who sparks his mind, who makes him work for it. The thrill isn't in the easy win. It's in the woman who knows her worth and won't just hand it over. And finally, authenticity. Forget the filters. Forget the act. The world is full of people pretending. A woman who is raw, real, and unafraid to be herself, that's power. When a man sees a woman who embraces her own emotions, who isn't afraid of vulnerability, but owns it with strength, he's hooked. Because deep down, every man wants something real in a world full of illusions. This is why men fall hard. Not for the ordinary, not for the predictable, but for the woman who is a force of nature, who knows her worth, who keeps him guessing, who stands unwaveringly by his side, who challenges him, and who is unapologetically real. You want to be unforgettable? Then be the woman who raises the damn bar. Confidence and independence. The irresistible magnetism, let me tell you something right now. Confidence is the single most powerful trait a woman can possess. It's not just attractive, it's intoxicating. It separates the women men admire from the ones they forget. It's the force that commands respect before a word is even spoken. A woman who walks with confidence is a woman who controls the room. She doesn't just enter, she arrives. Men are wired to respect strength. It's in their DNA. And when a woman carries herself with an unshakable belief in her own worth, men take notice. They can't help it. Confidence isn't just about how you look. It's about how you own who you are. A confident woman doesn't seek validation. She doesn't crave attention. And she sure as hell doesn't rely on anyone to define her. She's the prize. She knows it. And because she knows it, so does everyone else. Let's be clear. Confidence is not arrogance. It's not about being loud, demanding, or trying to prove something to the world. True confidence is quiet, effortless, and undeniable. It's a woman who knows her own value, regardless of who's watching. She doesn't need to announce it. She embodies it. And that right there is what makes her so damn magnetic. Now, let's talk about independence. A woman who has her own goals, her own passions, and her own mission in life is unstoppable. Nothing is more captivating than a woman who doesn't need a man but chooses to be with one. The difference is night and day. Neediness repels, but independence. That draws men in like a gravitational pull. A woman who is independent doesn't revolve her world around a man. She's too busy building her empire. She's too focused on her own purpose. And paradoxically, that's exactly what makes men crave her attention. Why? Because men are hunters by nature. They chase what they can't easily have. When a woman is fully engaged in her own life, when she's thriving on her own terms, she becomes a challenge. And men love a challenge. Let me give it to you straight. Men do not fall hard for women who make them their entire universe. They fall for women who have their own world, their own ambitions, their own passions. A woman who wakes up every morning with a fire in her heart and a mission in her soul. That's a woman who's unforgettable. Men respect women who respect themselves. If you're waiting around for a man to complete you, you've already lost. You don't need completing. You need to be so whole, so self-sufficient, that a man sees you as an equal, not a dependent. That's the dynamic that creates deep, lasting attraction. And here's the kicker. When you're truly independent, when you have that rock-solid confidence, you don't tolerate nonsense. You don't settle. You don't beg for attention. You set the standard, and men either rise to meet it or they get left behind. That's power. That's influence. That's what makes a woman unforgettable. So if you want to be the kind of woman that men fall hard for, stop seeking approval. Stop looking for permission. Walk through this world like you own it, like you deserve the best. And guess what? You will attract the best. Because confidence and independence are not just traits, they're weapons. And when you wield them right, you become absolutely unstoppable. Feminine mystery and intrigue. The art of keeping him hooked. Listen up. If there's one thing that keeps men coming back, thinking, obsessing, and craving more, it's mystery. Not games, not manipulation, but a genuine sense of intrigue. A woman who reveals everything too soon, who lays all her cards on the table in the first 5 minutes, robs a man of the very thing that makes attraction exciting, the chase. And let me tell you, men are wired for the chase. It's in their DNA. Mystery is power. A woman who understands this doesn't beg for attention. She commands it. She doesn't overshare, doesn't desperately try to be understood, and doesn't feel the need to explain every thought and action. Instead, she lets a man unwavering loyalty and support. The foundation of deep devotion. Let me tell you something that most people don't want to admit. Loyalty is rare. In a world where people jump ship at the first sign of trouble, where social media has turned relationships into disposable trends, finding someone who is unwaveringly loyal is like striking gold. And let me be absolutely clear. Men don't just want loyalty, they crave it. It's not just a quality they admire. It's the foundation of deep, lasting devotion. Man might be drawn to beauty. He might be captivated by charm. But the thing that keeps him committed, mind, body, and soul, is the kind of loyalty that withstands storms. A woman who stands by him not just when things are easy, not just when he's winning, but when the chips are down, when the world is against him, when he doubts himself. That is the kind of woman he will never, ever forget. Loyalty isn't about blind obedience, and it's definitely not about being a pushover. Let's kill that idea right now. A truly loyal woman isn't weak. She's the strongest person in the room. Why? Because she doesn't run at the first sign of difficulty. She doesn't crumble when things get tough. She holds the line. She sees the vision. She believes in the man she's with, and she fights alongside him. And here's the truth most people ignore. Men go through battles in life. No matter how strong they appear on the outside, every man faces doubts, failures, and fears. The world doesn't care about their struggles. Society expects them to be unshakable. But when a woman steps in and says, I see you, I believe in you, I'm with you, that changes everything. That is the difference between a man who keeps fighting and a man who gives up. Loyalty is tested in adversity. It's easy to be supportive when things are perfect, when he's successful, when everything is going well. But what about when he's struggling? When he loses that job? When his business is failing? When he's doubting himself? That's when most people disappear. But the woman who stays, that's the woman who owns his heart forever. Let's talk about support. There's a massive difference between cheerleading and true support. Cheerleading is easy. It's saying, you got this, when things are going well. But real support, that's pushing him when he's about to quit. That's standing firm when he's losing faith. That's reminding him who he is when the world tells him he's not enough. That's loyalty in action. And guess what? When a man recognizes that kind of loyalty in a woman, his respect for her skyrockets. His love deepens. He playful challenge and wit. The spark that keeps him hooked. Let me tell you something most people don't understand. Men don't fall hard for women who are passive, predictable, or who agree with everything they say. No! Men are drawn to the thrill of the chase, to the excitement of a challenge, to a woman who keeps them on their toes. And the one thing that keeps a man mentally, emotionally, and even physically hooked, a woman who knows how to challenge him in the right way. This isn't about being difficult for no reason. It's not about drama. It's about a playful, teasing, intellectually stimulating energy that makes them want to work for your attention. Men love the game of pursuit, and a woman who understands how to balance being affectionate with being just out of reach is the one who stays in his mind day and night. Why? Because when something is too easy, it's not valued. If you hand a man everything on a silver platter, your attention, your time, your affection, without making him earn it, he'll take it for granted. But if you create a little friction, if you make him work to win you over, that's when he becomes invested. That's when he starts chasing you instead of the other way around. A playful challenge is about wit, about keeping the interaction exciting. Teasing, banter, and a little back and forth create an electric energy that makes a man addicted to being around you. When you playfully call him out on his nonsense, when you make him laugh while still keeping your own standards high, you become unforgettable. Because you're not just another person in his life, you become an experience. Let me give you an example. A man says, "I'm pretty good at everything I try." Instead of nodding and smiling like every other woman, the confident, playful woman smirks and says, "Oh yeah, I bet I could still beat you at insert fun challenge, poker, trivia, a game, etc." That kind of response does two things. It makes him see you as someone with a sharp mind, and it instantly creates a spark of competition and attraction. Men also respect women who don't just fall at their feet. If a guy is used to being chased, to women fawning over him, and you're the one who holds back just a little, who makes him prove himself, you stand out. Because you're saying, "I know my worth, and I'm not that impressed that easily." Now, that makes him want to work harder. That makes him want you. Now, let's be clear. This isn't about authenticity and emotional depth. The power being unapologetically real. Let me tell you something most people won't. Men might be initially drawn to looks, charm, or confidence, but what makes them fall hard is something much deeper. It's not about perfection. It's not about saying the right things or playing some kind of role. It's about being real, raw, genuine, and unapologetically you. In a world full of filters, fake personas, and people trying to impress each other, authenticity is rare. And because it's rare, it's powerful. A woman who fully embraces who she is, flaws, strengths, quirks, and all, creates a connection that is unforgettable. Men don't just like authenticity, they crave it. Because when a man finds a woman who is truly herself, who isn't trying to be someone else, he can finally relax and be himself too. Let's get something straight. There's an undeniable power in a woman who is emotionally open, yet strong. A woman who isn't afraid to show her feelings, who doesn't hide behind a mask of indifference, yet doesn't let her emotions control her. That kind of emotional depth is what makes a man feel safe. And it makes him trust her. It makes him realize this woman isn't playing games. She's real. And that kind of honesty is intoxicating. Here's the truth. When a woman is completely authentic, it gives a man permission to be authentic too. Most men go through life putting on armor, acting like they have it all figured out, pretending they're never scared, never hurt. But when they meet a woman who is emotionally in tune with herself, who expresses her thoughts, who's not afraid to be vulnerable when the time is right, something shifts. It creates a space where he feels seen, where he feels understood, and that is powerful. But let me be crystal clear. This is not about oversharing, emotional dumping, or expecting a man to fix your problems. That's not depth, that's neediness. True emotional depth is about knowing yourself so well that you can express your emotions without losing control, without expecting someone else to validate you. It's about being strong enough to be vulnerable in a way that invites connection, rather than pushing people away. Men don't fall hard for a woman who's pretending to be something she's not. She's not. They don't fall for women who play a cool girl and act like they have no emotions. They fall for women who own their emotions, who can cry without feeling weak, who can express love without fear, who can have difficult conversations without shutting down. That's the kind of emotional security that builds real, lasting love. And let's not forget, authenticity also means having standards. It means saying no when something doesn't align with your values. It means walking away from situations that don't serve you. When a woman refuses to compromise her self-respect for anyone, men take notice. That's when they realize she's different. She's not like the rest. So here's the bottom line. You don't have to be perfect to make a man fall for you. You don't have to be the most beautiful woman in the room. But if you are real, if you show up as your true self, if you embrace your emotions, if you own your story with confidence, that is what makes you unforgettable. Because in a world full of pretenders, authenticity is the ultimate attraction. And that, my friends, is the truth about what makes men fall hard. It's not just about looks, not just about saying the right things. It's about who you are at your core. Confidence commands respect. Mystery keeps him intrigued. Loyalty earns his devotion. Playful challenge keeps the fire alive. And authenticity, that's what makes you unforgettable. So if you take anything away from this, let it be this. Stop trying to fit into a mold. Stop chasing validation. Stop pretending to be someone you're not just to please a man. Instead, be the woman who sets the damn standard. The woman who knows her worth. The woman who men don't just want, but the woman they can't afford to lose. Because when you step into your power, when you embrace these qualities, you won't have to chase a thing. The right man will recognize you, respect you, and fight to be with you. Raise the bar, be the force, and watch how everything changes.